this applause video. Round of applause to the people on the screen.
Real actors, and probably you have met them already. For those who just came in, I'm Valdis. I'll help you out to know when and where to go. For example, there's a workshop program. That workshop is when you came in before the registration to the left. There is a workshop room where all the time are going on all the workshops. For example, now, which is 11 and something, there is how AI-powered video analytics can transform your security ecosystem sessions. Then we'll have weapon system and how to be protected from card cloning and other things right until 4:30. So that's the workshop program, and the workshop is next to the registration. But we will meet I would say, a very fresh specialist in his place, because we'll be speaking with the chief for the newly established Cybercrime Combating Department, responsible for fighting cybercrime and crimes in the field of intellectual property protection. A serious person for whom his time, work, and order in society are important, as for all of you. So, and here we have a head of the Cybercrime Combating Department of the main criminal police department of the State Police of Latvia, Ruslans Grigs. Please welcome.
Oh, thank you for the introduction. I feel like a boxer now, and in the red corner we have. So thank you very much. So from my side, a small insight in the world of cybercrime. Actually, what is cybercrime? Cybercrime is a criminal offense which is money-driven mostly, and data is what the cybercriminals are hunting for. Private data, business data, internet bank accounts, just ordinary Facebook accounts, everything what is related to data. And this is the most valuable thing nowadays. According to the research of Latvian CERT, more than 70% of Latvian inhabitants mistakenly believe that they are not at risk of cyber attacks. And this is absolutely false. According to the figures, and I will show you later on the statistics, the amount of cybercrimes is increasing. It's increasing for the last 2 years, and I think the numbers this year will be not less than the last years. And talking about finances, so since 2017, more than 1,500 persons were victims of cybercrimes. And if we talk about cyber fraud, so-called cyber-dependent crime, the losses at the moment already are more than 15 million euros, and they are growing. And this only preliminary calculations, because not all cases are reported. We have a big latency in this field. The main cybercrimes, cyber areas I want to highlight today are phishing attacks, ransomware cases. I think I'm among professionals. I know that you are aware of all these threats already. Investment fraud, my favorite modus operandi, as I may say. And also one of the issue that criminals pretend to be employees of different courier services. This is also one of the issue of phishing attacks. And I want to say that we receive lots of applications from inhabitants, and the losses differs from 50 euro to 250,000 euro of losses of a cyber attack. So this is a very essential part where we say that every single business, every single person should invest in his cybersecurity. As regards the competence of the state police. And I'm really honored to represent the state police here today. On the 1st of July, a new structural unit within the state police was established. Before that, we had the unit, and we saw that the capacity of a single unit is not enough to fight cybercrime and those threats nowadays. So a decision was taken to establish a bigger department who will pay attention to all the threats. And in brief, the main competence of the department will be organizing and coordinating and battling cyber cases related to automated data processing, system security threats online, cyber and cyber-related frauds. I will show you some examples later on. Cyber hooliganism. Here we see fake news distribution online. Here we see also fake bombing threats. Crimes against fundamental rights online, copyrights as well, torrents, including also crimes against child sexual exploitation online, which is, in my opinion, the most classical cybercrime, not money-driven, but still. Non-cash payment fraud, phishing, smishing, wishing. We see a lot of phenomena nowadays. The cybercriminals are not sleeping. They are developing their methods. They are searching for new methods. They are really strong in social engineering. And they are organized, well-equipped. We'll go more into details a little bit later on. Virtual assets, tracing and investigation, a hot topic nowadays for everyone, for all law enforcement society. Also, we will look into this a little bit in detail later on. And darknet investigations. We know that there is a world called darknet, and lots of things are being done there. Lots of information are being sold and bought about vulnerabilities. Solutions are sold, like viruses, like Trojans, etc., etc. So you may acquire lots of big picture of what is going on cyber world from darknet. The main issues also for our department will be internet intelligence, like OSINT tools, OSINT, open source intelligence, gathering of information, and operational activities, as online as on-site. Operational analysis of the investigative cases and new modus operandi. The trends are developing. Every day we see some kind of new trends, and we need to be updated. We need to be in line with criminals, so we know that they are doing. Provide forensic support to all units of the Latvian State Police. In this field, we are pretty much well equipped. We may extract data from different mobile devices, from personal computers, from IoT devices, thus going forward and gathering of electronic evidences. And within the field of cybercrime, electronic evidences play the major role. Of course, we are always looking for new solutions, for new IT technologies. That's why I'm here as well, not only to present you this presentation, but also to have a look what's new, what's trendy, what are the new technologies nowadays, what can we use to fight cybercrimes. Providing strategical threat assessments and reports, and providing guidance and practical support to officers dealing with cybercrime investigations. So the department is dealing solely with cybercrime. However, the problem is much bigger, and that's why the whole state police is involved in this fight. So we are established to gather best practices within the investigations, to gather knowledge under one umbrella, and then spread it throughout the Republic. Talking about ransomware, I think you already know what it is and how to fight and how to secure your systems against ransomware. However, I want to stress that in most cases, yes, the successful cyber attack is just from a phishing email, starting from a phishing email. And once the ransomware is deployed and your files are encrypted, you are asked to pay the ransom, mostly in Bitcoins or Ethereum. And I'm always asked whether we should pay the ransom or not. And my answer is no. No, in every case, no. So don't support cyber criminals. There is a project run by Europol and Dutch law enforcement authorities. It's called nomoransom.org. So there you can find decryption keys for ransomware. And this platform is being instantly updated, and newly discovered decryption keys are there, like Locker Goga, like Deadbolt, one of the main ransomware families now. So if you are affected by Deadbolt, just visit this site or contact me. I have the decryption key for you. Yes. Investment frauds. It's a big issue nowadays in Latvia. Lots of persons receive phone calls, mainly the perpetrators are speaking Russian language, offering to invest in different stocks, binary options, virtual assets, etc. Whatever you want, they are offering you the possibility to invest. And huge profits are being promised. However, no investments are being made in real life. That's only an imitation. For this modus operandi, different software is being used, like AnyDesk or TeamViewer, and thus taking over the control of personal computer of the victim. And so far, we have more than 400 cases in Latvia, more than 400 criminal proceedings, with losses of more than 9 million euro cost to Latvian inhabitants. We have discovered more than 200 different platforms. I won't mention them, not to advertise them. But it's a big issue. It's a cross-border crime. It's being organized and committed by organized criminal groups from abroad. And it's very sophisticated. Those call centers, they are top-notch equipped with newest solutions. And this is a big organized environment, criminal environment that we are fighting. This is one of our main challenges nowadays. Phishing attacks. So phishing attacks are social engineering product. So the cyber criminals are always looking what we are using, what's trendy now, what services are being provided by private parties, by businesses, and of course those social phishing attacks are tailored to the needs of the society. We see lots of waves of those social attacks, like fake bank websites. Like on the screen you see fraudsters pretending to be employees of a courier service. If you want to sell something, you put an advertisement on an advertisement website, and straight away you will be contacted, offering you to buy something you sell with assistance of a courier service. This is absolutely fake issue, and during the conversation you will receive a hyperlink. If you click on it, you will be forwarded to a website which is similar to, here it's a DPD, courier service, where you will be asked to put all your credentials of your bank card, except PIN 1 and PIN 2 or whatever it is, and then your money is gone. So we have lots of cases. There are more than 700 already registered cases within the investigation, and amounts of losses are more than 350,000 euro. So if you want to sell something, just be sure that you won't click this hyperlink. More not mentioned here, but still very actual and trendy phishing campaigns like SEO fraud, like compromised email. I know you are aware of what it is when you receive payment details with different bank accounts. You know it, but please talk to your accountant. Please raise awareness within your businesses, because I don't think that you want to lose your money. We have lots of cases on this when the accountant received an order from his or her boss to make straight transaction, and we have companies who suffered losses. Just last week, 186,000 euro, and that's a big loss. Also, very interesting scam, romantic scam, when there are lots of people with fake profiles pretending to want to go to Latvia to live, but still they need some money, and of course there are lots of victims because of this as well. And child sexual exploitation online, for me, is a classical cybercrime. This is a field where I pay a lot of attention from my department, from our department. And we are going to different ways. One is investigation, and the second is prevention. Prevention is being fulfilled by blocking. So we have a project ongoing. It's called iWall. It's aimed on blocking of websites containing images depicting sexual abuse of children. So we have a list. We, together with Europol, Interpol, and private parties, we are maintaining the lists of websites where these materials can be found. And we, together with the major telecommunication operators, we are blocking those websites. If you want to visit such one, you will see the stop page explaining you that you're about to visit a really bad website. So far, we have done more than 5 million blocks. More than 5 million children were saved, as I would say, since 2018, since the project is ongoing. 5 simple steps. You know them, I know them, but if you go back to your business, please talk to your accountant, please talk to your employees. These are just ABC not to become a victim of a cybercrime. So implement multi-factor authentication wherever you can. Is it a Sony PlayStation? Is it just an email account? If there is such a possibility, just do it. Update your software. Please use only licensed software, of course. And this is, of course, just a similar issue. However, in our practice, we see that there are several cases where not updated software were used, and even unlicensed systems were used for cyber attack. Data backup, for me, it's just a must. When ransomware cases, for instance, when there is no decryption key, when the cyber criminals will demand, for instance, 5 bitcoins to decrypt data, well, it's a lot of money. Maybe it's time to think about data backup. Well, as I already mentioned, more than 90% of successful cyber attacks start with a phishing email, so think before you click. And of course, use strong passwords and ideally password manager. So in our practice, it's funny, but it's not funny anymore. So why? Because there are lots of passwords named QWERTY123, or in Latvian, password is parole, and the password is parole. So it's really happening. It's not a joke. It's really happening. So I want to stress this issue. And to prove you that I was not lying before, these are the official statistics. These are the figures. On the top, we can see frauds, computer frauds, and stealing of payment card data on the bottom. 6660, nice digit. I like it. So you see that the numbers are growing. We faced lots of waves. We faced lots of cases. And this is why we're always talking about the cybersecurity issues. So we do our work in different ways, in two ways. So this is a classical investigation team, a classical investigation, gathering of electronic evidences, and following the money. And of course, the prevention. Prevention is essential to speak to the society, to explain them the risks. And this is also what we do and will try to do. The portrait of a typical victim of cyber fraud. It's in 68%, it's a woman, more than 55 years old. And the conversation occurred in Russian language. And in the bottom, the statistic regarding the classical cybercrime stipulated in the Budapest Convention for cybercrime. So there's other articles. I won't bother you with those legislative issues. However, just to show you that in 2021, we had 573 cases more than in 2020. So we have enormous growth of different cyber cases, different cyber attacks, like ransomware, for instance, or child sexual exploitation, etc. And of course, we were better on clearing up crimes, but still we'll need to build up our capacity as well. And about virtual assets, just in brief, as I mentioned, that the ransom is being extorted, I would say, in cryptocurrency, in bitcoins or in Ethereum or whatever, in Dogecoins, for instance, my favorite cryptocurrency, Dogecoin. So I'm frequently asked whether cryptocurrency is a crime itself. No. If you have a wallet, if you have bitcoins, well, it's okay for me. I have no problems with it. But we see that cryptocurrency is being used more and more often in committing cybercrimes, in committing money laundering as well, from the cybercrime. So, and the key aspect for successful tracing investigations for us is we fully rely on cross-border cooperation. We fully rely on our law enforcement partners throughout the European Union, from the US as well, and Europol, as EC3 is a European Cybercrime Center. Software we're tracing, and this is the point where I would say we're still searching for an optional for a solution. Software for tracing is essential in tracing cryptocurrency, applying arrests, freezing cryptocurrency. This is the field which is still open for us, where we are developing ourselves. Cooperation with major virtual asset service providers. This is a hot topic for practically every European Union law enforcement agency, or what to do, whether it should be judicial cooperation or bilateral cooperation. And of course, we're looking on it. We do cooperate with major virtual asset service provider as bilaterally as judicially as well. And of course, analytical capacity. If you ask me how much time do we spend on analyzing transaction, well, I would say this is a full-time job. It's very complicated, even when different mixers are being used, and really without proper software, it's practically impossible to trace cryptocurrency. So, in brief, from my side, I was told that my stick would vibrate, and if I'm over my time, and I'm really afraid that something vibrates in my hands now. So thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions. And of course, I'm also willing to gain more knowledge today in communication with you to understand how we together can make our cyber area more secure for the society.
So, round of applause. Of course, most of you have been listening and just nodding and saying, yeah, of course we do know, yes, sure. Were there any questions or maybe uncovered areas you think should be addressed and should be known and covered by police? Is there anything you would like to add? Just raise your hand and the mic will be with you. Or yes, here we are.
Hello. Thank you for the great presentation. I have a question. In the presentation, you had a lot of big numbers about cases, thousands of them. What about getting the money back from the criminals?
Yes, that's a good question. As I already said, so we are following two ways of two patterns for investigation. First of all, in every criminal case, in every cyber case, we look for electronic evidences. So electronic evidences is an essential part of investigation. Data, IPs, telephone numbers, etc., etc., etc. And the second part, which is, in my opinion, more essential, is follow the money. So yes, we do that. We follow the money. We follow the let's say just simple ways when it's a SEPA-to-SEPA transaction, etc., etc., and it goes. We have mechanisms in place, how we follow it, how we freeze the assets. There are lots of international mechanisms to follow the money and to freeze the assets, like we are cooperating closely with financial financial investigation unit, with asset recovery office, with our international partners, with Europol, Eurojust. We are creating joint investigative teams to move this process more faster and efficiently. And of course, the second part is cryptocurrency, as I already said. This is the main issue for us as well now. This is the main trend now, since I would say 90% of illegal transactions within cybercrime are made by cryptocurrency.
Ruslan, the question is there any money you got back?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. However, maybe it's. I want to go into details within concrete cases. Yes, we have successful stories. We apply the rests within our investigations here in Latvia. So this is one of the main issue we focus on.
And how do you think those 180,000 euros? Is there any hope?
We're working on it.
Thank you. And we have a little nice diploma and a little present for the speakers. And thank you, Ruslan, also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, in case you really want to have something to eat, we are having lunch from 12 to 2. But before that, our main stage will be filled with more speakers. We'll speak for next 30 minutes. And our next guest is, actually he's not a guest, he's part of the team, I would say even. Mārtiņš has been working in the security industry for 14 years. The last 7 in public sector. Currently he works at Rīgas satiksme, which is public transport company, as the head of the security department. And he's the one to speak about you. Yes, we're talking about the situation in the world. Yes, we're talking about the institutions and companies. But now let's talk about you. Security professionals 2.0, or maybe 3.0, or maybe 4. So please welcome Mārtiņš. And Mārtiņš will have also a translator, Pāvils, helping him to translate from Latvian to English. Please welcome.
Jā, tātad sveicināti, dārgie kolēģi, un man ir tas gods būt vienīgajam, kuram ir privātais tulks, ar to arī es jūtos īpašāks. Šodien parunāšu par drošības profesionāļa 2.0 nepieciešamajiem jaunajiem izaicinājumiem un par riskiem, ar ko viņam nākotnē varētu būt iespējas un noteikti arī būs iespējas saskarties.
Good afternoon. I'm really glad to be the only one with an assigned interpreter here. And I'll be talking about the challenges faced in Security 2.0.
Nedaudz par sevi. Strādāju Rīgas satiksmē. Esmu drošības daļas vadītājs un atbildība, kā jau ir minēts, Tā kā nākotnē drošības profesionālim jāatbild kopsakarībās par drošību uzņēmumos, tad mana atbildība ir fiziskās tehniskās drošības nodrošinājums, incidentu vadība, ugunsdrošība, civilā aizsardzība, telekomunikāciju servisi, globālās pozicionēšanas sistēmas, komunikāciju sistēmas, piekļuves kontroles un krīzes vadība. Šo slaidu parādu ar tādu nodomu, ka šis ir tas, par ko drošības profesionālim arī ir jāatbild.
I work for the Riga public transit operator Rīgas satiksme, and I manage a whole host of things from physical security to communication systems management and crisis management in an integral manner, which is something I believe today's security professional should be focused on.
Tātad nākošos 10 gadus, šis ir pētījums 2002. gadā no Pasaules ekonomikas fóruma. Nākošajos 10 gados šie ir vieni no būtiskākajiem riskiem, ar ko mums nāksies saskarties. Un būtiski patiesībā ir tas, ka no 10 šiem riskiem 5 ir saistīti ar vides drošību. Un nākošā pozīcija ir viss, kas ir saistīts ar sabiedrisko drošību.
This, as you see, is a study performed in 2022 by the World Economic Forum, and as you can see, among the global severe risks, right now we have 5 in the environmental category and 3 in the societal category.
Būtiski ir saprast, ka īstermiņā arī skatoties nākotnes riski nav tikai kiberdrošība un finanšu drošība, ar ko drošības profesionāliem noteikti vajadzēs saskarties arī īstermiņā skatoties, ir tātad vides aizsardzība, ko jau es iepriekš minēju, papildus nāk sabiedrības drošība un, kas ir būtiski pēdējos gados, arī pandēmija, epidēmija. Noteikti jūs esat kā drošības profesionāļi arī saskārušies ar izaicinājumiem, kas bija pandēmijas, epidēmijas laikā, gan kā drošības speciālistiem, gan izmantojot drošības sistēmas, bija jāīsteno dažādi procesi un procedūras, lai ierobežotu šīs epidēmijas vairošanos ne tikai sabiedrībā, bet arī jūsu uzņēmumā.
As security professionals in the past few years, you may have had to focus on how to manage risks related to the pandemic, not only in terms of taking care of social welfare, but also reducing risks at your own company, which is one of the aspects that complements the cybersecurity and financial security aspects. And in addition to the 2 main categories of severe risks I indicated in the previous slide. So all these go into the security professional of the future, so to speak.
Šajā slaidā gribēju vienkārši tādu būtisku jautājumu pieminēt par to, ko tad mēs apsargājam un no kā mēs viņu apsargāsim. Un runājot par drošības profesionāli, jūs noteikti arī saskaraties ar šo jautājumu, lai vispār saprastu, pie kā strādāt. Mums ir jāveic risku izvērtējums uzņēmumos, un pēc tam mēs varam saprast, uz ko fokusēties, uz ko šos riskus arī vērst uzmanību, uz kādiem riskiem, lai samazinātu tos.
To figure out what we should be protecting, how we should be protecting it, the first thing we should perform is a risk assessment that gives us an overview of the risk we should be focusing on, and that's how we work on defining our competencies and accountabilities.
Vienkāršā salīdzinājumā drošības speciālists, drošības profesionāls slimnīcā atbildēs par pilnīgi citiem riskiem salīdzinājumā ar drošības profesionālu, piemēram, ražošanas uzņēmumā vai intelektuālā drošības uzņēmumā. Tie ir tie riski, ar ko mums kā drošības profesionālim jāsaskarās un jāveic riska izvērtējums.
A security professional engaged in a hospital would have a completely different set of accountabilities and competencies to focus on compared to one at an industrial production facility or an intellectual property company.
Ko tad mēs sargājam? Tas ir retorisks jautājums par to, ka vakardien mēs sargājam vandālismu, šodien mēs sargājam jau datu drošību un nākotnē mēs tēlēni izsakoties sargāsim plūdus. Un plūdi šeit tiek patiesībā domāti ar jēdzienu, kad tie riski ir tik daudz, un pie mūsdienu situācijas mums ar tiem ir jāsaskarās tik bieži, kad plūdi nāk viss apdraudējums vienlaikus. Un jāspēj saskarties gan ar pandēmijām, gan ar resursu trūkumiem, gan ar kiberuzbrukumiem, gan ar to pašu iepriekšējo gadu vandālismu.
To ask a sort of rhetorical question, what we would be focusing on, you can see that perhaps the security professional of yesteryear was focused on handling the risk of basic vandalism. Many of us today are focused on developing protections against data leaks, and the floods of the future are a sort of metaphor for what sort of comprehensive risk will plague an environment in the future, meaning all sorts of threats coming in from different directions on a regular basis and so on.
Kas tad ir drošības risku evolūcija? Kā mēs uz tiem skatījāmies pagātnē, tagadnē un kā mēs tos redzam nākotnē? Tad iepriekš pagātnē patiesībā risku izvērtējums drošībā bija ļoti detalizēts un atdalīts. Katrs atbildēja par savu jomu, un tā arī tas process tika virzīts.
Before today, risks would often be handled in a standalone way, where each risk would be assigned to a specific professional.
Mūsdienās mēs jau veicot risku izvērtējumu saskaramies un daudz vietu pārklājas šie risku apdraudējumi. Kā piemērs minot, izveidojot datu drošības centrus, viens ir sargāt pašus datus, bet otrs ir fiziski nodrošināt šo iekārtu drošību, tā skaitā trešo personu nepiekļūšanu tur. Tātad šeit jau mēs sakļaujamies šajos risku izvērtējumos.
Whereas today, some threats will overlap. For instance, if we are handling the security for a data center, in addition to data security, we'll also have to handle unauthorized access by third parties, so there's a physical security aspect to it anyway.
Un nākotnē mēs redzam, ka šis viss veidojas tādā saplūstošā algoritmā integrētā. Attiecīgi katrs process, ko mēs veicam risku izvērtējumā un paredzam kādas procedūras, izslēdz nākošo procesu. Attiecīgi ierodoties jums darbā, reģistrējoties pie piekļuves sistēmām, nākošais droši pārvietojoties uz savu darba vietu, pēc tam izmantojot drošas telpas, pēc tam strādājot ar drošiem datiem un jebkāda veida apdraudējumos arī saņemt drošu pakalpojumu no ārpuses. Un šādā veidā drošības speciālists veicot šo risku izvērtējumu iesaista jau vairākas struktūras, vairākas atbildīgos profesionāļus.
And in the future we will have to be looking at a comprehensive integrated algorithm for handling sort of layers of security and risk management, where one process excludes the next set of risks. For instance, an employee coming to a company will have to manage a layer of access to premises through access control, followed by a secure environment where they are located, the security of the physical workspace, going into the layer of data security when they work on their computer, use the network and so on.
Kas ir tātad fiziskās drošības transformācija? Ātri pārskrienot, tātad agrāk analogās sistēmas, tagad digitālās sistēmas, ar ko vēl ir jārēķinās par to, ka šī fiziskā drošība transformējās. Tātad resursu trūkums, rodas jauni izaicinājumi. Mums jāmeklē citas iespējas attīstīties. Mākslīgā intelekta virziena attīstība. Ar to ļoti spējam riskus identificēt jau laikus. Bet nevaram aizmirst arī par to, ka visus šos mākslīgo intelekta risinājumus un IT kiberdrošības risinājumu attīstībai rodas papildus riski, kas ir kiberdrošības riski šo sistēmu un datu nosargāšanai.
And as physical security evolves, we transition from analog solutions to digital systems. AI is growing and often allows us to identify risks before they manifest, but there are always new challenges that come in with all new systems. And of course, whenever we are short for resources, our challenges increase.
Šajā slaidā vienkārši šādi pieskaršos, ir veikts pētījums 2020. gadā. ASIS asociācija veikusi pētījumu par drošības riska izvērtējumu un šo struktūru vienību vai speciālistu kopsadarbību. Šis ir no Amerikas Savienotajām valstīm pētījuma dati. Tātad, tas, ko mēs redzam pētījumā, kreisajā pusē redzam, ka 48% respondenti ir atbildējuši, ka patiesībā kiberdrošība, fiziskā drošība, biznesa nepārtrauktība nav vienā departamentā apvienoti, un pēc tam augstāk jau kāpjot redzam, ka šie procenti samazinoties, bet parādās, ka tomēr ir apvienots. Labajā pusē no organizāciju lieluma interesanti ir tas, ka dati parāda, jo lielāks uzņēmums, jo pelnošāks uzņēmums, jo šie risku speciālisti, struktūra vienības ir atdalītākas, un jo mazāks uzņēmums, jo tas viss ir vienkopus. Bet, protams, tam ir arī loģisks skaidrojums, jo lielāks uzņēmums, jo vairāk ir uzdevumu un darbu. Bet būtiski ir tas, ka tas nenozīmē, ka mums struktūra vienības ir sadalītas, kad šo visu nevar pāraudzīt vienkopus vienā procesā.
On the screen now you see a study performed in 2020 by the ASIS in the United States. What's important to me here is that almost half of the respondents confirmed that they do not have a single department for managing their risks, and about 20% said that they do converge physical and business security management into under a single umbrella. On the right side of the table, you see that the companies that have larger turnover tend to have more standalone units focusing on specific risks. But that does not mean that managing them in an integrated manner is not possible. It's just that it does require more human resources to handle risks at a larger company.
Kas ir drošības profesionāls un kā mēs redzam, kādas spējas viņam vajadzīgas?
What is the security professional of tomorrow, and what skills do they require?
Pirmais jautājums ir par iesaisti izglītībā. Pirmkārt, drošības profesionālim ir jāiesaistās jauno speciālistu izglītošanā. Attiecīgi mums kā profesionāļiem, vietējiem, startautiskajiem ir jādodas sadarbībā ar augstskolām šo profesionāļu izglītošanai, ievadīšanai jau specialitātā, teiksim tā.
I believe that as security professionals we should be focused on training new professionals by getting involved in the education system as well as getting involved with international networks of cooperation to train the new generation of specialists.
Nākošais ir sabiedrības izglītošana. Jāstrādā pie tā, lai sabiedrība saprot, kas ir šis drošības profesionāls, ar kādiem uzdevumiem viņš strādā un kāpēc viņš patiesībā ir vajadzīgs. It īpaši ņemot vērā starptautiskos riskus, kas ir mūsdienās arī vērtējot gan kopsakarībās ar kritiskās infrastruktūras drošības speciālistiem, gan drošības speciālistiem, kas nodrošina pakalpojumus vai atbild par šo drošības jautājumu publiskajās ēkās.
Another aspect is getting involved with social awareness and public affairs, i.e. describing the tasks that we face as professionals, what the international risks are that we may face, infrastructural security.
Un iesaiste izglītības sistēmā. Mums kā drošības speciālistiem ir jāiesaistās izglītības sistēmā, radot gan nepieciešamos izglītības programmas, kuras ir nepieciešams mums kā profesionāļiem un dažiem no jums arī kā pakalpojumu sniedzējiem un ņēmējiem, jo tikai mēs varam pateikt, kas trūkst patreiz mums profesionālajai vidē un komunicēt kopā ar augstskolām. Mēs varam radīt šo izglītības sistēmu tādu, lai pēc pāris gadiem jaunais profesionālis nākot strādāt pie mums jau būtu ar zināšanām, kas ir iekļautas iepriekšējā riska izvērtējumos.
professionals should be active in shaping new educational curriculums as well, because only we working with our clients know that what are the areas that are lacking and how we could best educate the young professionals to come in with the skills that we will need.
Pieredze. Kāda ir vajadzīga drošības profesionāla pieredze? Viennozīmīgi startautiskā pieredze, braukājot, apmeklējot dažādus seminārus, pieredze apmācībās gūta, gan praktiskajās apmācībās, ko paši esam guvuši dzīvē, gan apmācībās, kas tiek organizētas sadarbībā ar citām institūcijām, un globālo pasākumu, startautisko pasākumu iesaiste, apmeklēšana un piedalīšanās.
As we gather our experience, we participate in international cooperation with our colleagues abroad. We train by both receiving upskilling education and by drawing on our practical experience and participating in global events where experience can be exchanged at a high level is very important.
Un nākošais ir attīstība. Attīstība tādā ziņā, ka attīstoties mūsu profesionāļu videi un teiksim, sabiedrībai kā tādai, noteikti drošības profesionālim ir jāiesaistās likumdošanas radīšanā, izmaiņās un šajos procesos. Kā nākošais ir sadarbības platformas. Drošības profesionālim ir jābūt aktīvam. Vēsturiski patiesībā drošības profesionāļi bija noslēgti un neteica nevienam, ar ko nodarbojās. Mūsdienās ir drošības profesionālim jābūt aktīvam, dodoties uz sarunām, sadarbības platformām, lai veicinātu diskusiju. Semināri, konferences, tas jau arī tika pieminēts iepriekšējās reizēs, bet šajā kontekstā organizēt, plānot, organizēt, iesaistīties. Tikai tādā veidā mēs varam saprast, kas esošajā un nākotnes riskos būs aktuāls. Un savas interešu pārstāvniecība. Jebkurā vietā, uz kuru mēs dodamies, pārstāvam sevi, savu uzņēmumu, sevi kā profesionāli, mēs pārstāvam arī drošības profesionāļu intereses, tādā veidā ceļot arī prestižu nozarei.
We should definitely, as professionals, be active in contributing to how legislation is developed in our own states and collaborate with colleagues, because historically we have been a sort of cloistered profession, but we should be disseminating the knowledge that is gathered all over the space. And as I mentioned previously, participation in seminars and conferences, not just from a participation standpoint, we should be active in creating events, organizing them. That is the best way for us to find out what is relevant today. And of course, representation of our interests in kādā
mūsu intereses tieši pārstāvēt.
So getting our interests represented.
Saliekot to visu kopā, mēs skatāmies, kas tad ir nepieciešamās zināšanas drošības profesionālim, un tās visas savienojot kopsakarības ķēdē, neizslēdz vienu otru. Tātad pirmais ir izglītība, otrais ir pieredze, tehnoloģiju zināšanas, risku analīze, pēc kā mēs arī tālāk varam saprast, ar ko mums strādāt, krīzes vadība un biznesa nepārtrauktība. Tātad visa kopsakarībā mūsu uzdevums ir nodrošināt biznesa nepārtrauktību, bet visi iepriekšējie procesi neizslēdz šo.
And so as security professionals, we should be merging all these building blocks into an integrated chain of several layers, progressing from educating future professionals on through risk analysis to figure out what exactly we should be focused on, into the overarching idea of ensuring business continuity for our clients.
Un šeit vizuāli parādīts, ar ko tad drošības profesionāls tādā lielā uzņēmumā arī nodarbojas. Tātad tas, ko mēs redzam, fiziskās, tehniskās drošības risinājumi, tehnoloģiju risinājumi, meklēšana, ārkārtas situāciju vadība, ugunsdrošība, finanšu drošība, Par reputāciju arī drošības profesionālim jārūpējas par uzņēmumu reputāciju kā tādu. Projektu vadība. Projektu vadība saistīts ar jauno drošības risinājumu iesaisti un tā skaitā uzņēmumu projektu vadību kā tādu, uz kurien uzņēmums attīstās. Procesu monitorings. Ļoti daudz drošības profesionāļu patiesībā iesaistās tieši procesu monitoringā, uzraugot vai tieši varbūt nesaistīti ar drošību, bet procesi notiek tā, kā tas ir paredzēts iekšējās kārtības noteikumos vai uzņēmuma kaut kādās vadlīnijās. Risku vadība un kā noslēdzošais noteikti ir aktuālais kiberdrošība.
And here you see the field of sort of security competencies that a professional at a large company would be expected to handle, from physical and technical aspects to data safety, emergency management. Also very important is managing the reputation of the company, handling reputational risks. Many of us are involved in project management, and not only by introducing changes at the company, but also supervising how our colleagues manage projects. Process monitoring addresses aspects of internal compliance so that processes are performed in accordance with regulatory documents. Of course, risk management and cybersecurity are all tied into this competency as well.
Kas varētu būt nākotnes izaicinājumi, lai šos procesus nodrošinātu? Tātad globālā situācija, vērtējot esošo situāciju un nākotni, dažādi riski, gan riski apdraudējuma ziņā, gan riski resursu trūkuma ziņā. Kā nākošais ir būtisks risks ir personāla resursu trūkums. Tātad saprotam, ka drošību bez personāla nevarēs nodrošināt īsti. Un zinoši personāla resursu trūkums ir noteikti izaicinājums. Kā trešais ir datu drošības prasības, personu datu apstrādes principi, kiberdrošības izaicinājumi. Tātad, jo mēs vairāk ejam tehnoloģiju vidē, jo mēs vairāk procesus organizējam automatizētus, jo mums vairāk jādomā par šo procesu aizsardzību kā tādu, lai uzņēmuma darbība netiek apturēta. Kā nākošais ir viltus ziņas. Viltus ziņas gan par uzņēmumu, gan par kopējo sabiedrības attieksmi pret notikumiem gan mūsu valstī, gan ārpus valsts. Arī to ir drošības profesionālim jārēķinās, izvērtējot dažādus riskus, ņemot vērā arī starptautisku uzņēmumu pieredzes. Un kā pēdējais, viss, kas sasaucās šajā, ir biznesa nepārtrauktība. Tātad pamat uzdevums mums nodrošināt ir biznesa nepārtrauktību, bet visi iepriekšēji izaicinājumi un riski šo biznesa nepārtrauktību tikai apgrūtina, lai mēs varētu to visu procesu nodrošināt pēc noteiktajām prasībām.
And here you can see the set of challenges that we will be facing as we develop the security professional of the future, from the obvious developments in the global geopolitical arena to the necessity of skilled labor at all times, especially now, through to protecting personal data, of course, protecting our customers from cyber security threats. Fake news ties into the reputational risk management that I mentioned in the previous slide. And all this, of course, feeds into the main overarching aspect, that is business continuity.
No manas puses tas arī patreiz būs viss. Es teikšu, varbūt jau teikšu, milzīgs paldies tulkam, kurš šodien iepazīst drošības profesionāļu vidi, un es ceru, ka nākotnē mēs redzēsim jaunu profesionālu.
A round of applause to Pavels for translating. Thank you. Thank you. So any questions here on your future? Because in other areas, now it's very nice and working and living for IT professionals. For example, they are moving to the countryside, they're moving to Bahamas, whatever. And just keep on going. And the employers are very happy, whatever it takes. So the question is, what about security specialists here?
Drošības profesionālim arī pandēmijas laikā darbs nebeidzās. Darbs ir tikai gan klātienē, gan neklātienē, bet tas viss notiek viennozīmīgi arvien intensīvāk. Un, kā jau es minēju, saskaroties šiem riskiem, kiberdrošības, fiziskās drošības, arī zinot daudzus startautiskos lielos uzņēmumus, kas aizver savus birojus. Tas nenozīmē, ka mums jāaizmirst par biroju drošību, kas patreiz ir tukši, bet nākotnē mēs tur noteikti atgriežamies.
Just because the pandemic is changing our environment does not mean that our job as security professional is no longer there. Either on the spot or remotely, we still have to manage lots of risks from physical to cyber. And even though we see large companies closing down many of their offices right now, we still have to focus on the security of premises. Sooner or later, they're coming back.
But can you allow yourself to have that elasticity as other employees? They can go to the office like 2 or maybe one time per week, for example, or 1 time per month. Do you have any changes in this area?
Protams, varam.
And it still works?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you. Paldies, Mārtiņam. Paldies, Pāvēlam. So before I announce the next event, I have a little question for you. What kind of musical instruments do you prefer? Name any musical instruments. Saxophone, guitar, piano. What else? Drums. Yes. You haven't mentioned yet the instrument we will listen here today in this audience after 5 o'clock. From 5 to 7, we will have 2 musicians on the stage and a nice atmosphere and a lottery. Hope you still have your tickets. There will be some delicacies, some beers, some fitness opportunities, and some fuel given away. So don't miss that opportunity. We'll have a technical break after 4-ish o'clock when we'll finish on the stage. And at 5 o'clock, we will have some fun, serious one. So before that, there will be a break. We'll get back to the main stage in an hour at 1:30, and we'll be talking about thermal technology, the past, the present, and the future. An associate member of the British Association of Security Consultants will be on the stage. But until then, so the lunch, next hall here, the next room, will go on until 2 o'clock or until there will be anything left to eat. Then at 1:30 we'll be back on the stage. Then we have exhibition, welcome to that, and workshops. Workshops will also go on like parallelly on the premises next to the registration. Any other questions? No. Give me some food. Good luck. Bon appetit, labu appetīti. Right to the right. Thank you.